changes. In 1776, this great nation accepted that armed conflict was the only way to preserve our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If our founding fathers could only see us now. From Antietam to Amiens, Okinawa to Anchorage, we have fought. And now, the Red Menace is at our doorstep. Democracy itself is under threat of annihilation. That is why today, July 4th, 2076, 300 years after our great nation began, we gather together to honor the completion of Vault 76. This sprawling underground shelter may have been engineered by Vault Tech, but it was built by you, the good people of America, so that if the bombs do come, if the end does come, our way of life will endure. But not everyone will be saved. Those chosen to enter this vault must be our best and our brightest. For when the fighting is stopped and the fallout has settled, you must rebuild. Not just walls, not just buildings, but hearts and minds, and ultimately, America itself. So as we stand here today, we pray that the world will know peace. But if that is not our destiny, if war must come, we stand together knowing that here in Vault 76, our future begins.
Good morning, Vault 76. This is the Overseer.
The morning
I hope you all
after,
enjoyed the party
though.
last night, even those who may have overindulged and overslept. But it's time to get up and get out there. We've been locked away long enough. Today is Reclamation Day.
Yeah, Reclamation Day!
It may be time to leave, but I'll never forget the day you all entered Vault 76. You come from every walk of life, every race, color, and creed. But you all share one very important trait. You are this country's best and brightest. But more importantly, you'll always be my family.
Jeez. The Overseer likes to rabbit on for a long time. Okay, welcome ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nick, as always you can call me Tetra Ninja, and this is some early gameplay footage of Fallout 76. Bethesda's biggest and new game coming out later this year. It doesn't come out until November, but I got to play pretty much the first 3 hours of the game at a Bethesda held event that was last week in West Virginia, which is actually the setting of Fallout 76. They actually did a themed event, and some of the stuff that the main event we went to was actually part of the game as well. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. So yeah, I had the privilege of being flown out there for the event. They cover flight and hotels, but they're not paying me for this content. I just have to let you guys know what they did provide. And yeah, I got to play pretty much the first 3 hours of the game. So in today's video, I am going to be giving you guys my general impressions of what I thought about it. So just some logistic stuff out of the way. We got to play on the Xbox One X version of the game. Just forewarned, I will say this probably multiple times in the future. This game ran well for about the first hour or so of the demonstration and the demo. A little bit later, when we got into jamming out right now, when we got a little bit deeper into the demo, things got a little bit more framey and buggy. This is obviously not the final version of the game because it's still about a month away. But I would still say I think pretty much everyone can agree that anytime you play a Bethesda-based game, you're always best to play the PC version of the game just because it runs the best, it's the most moddable, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we got to play the Xbox One X version of the game, and I had a lot of fun, I'll be honest with you. And no Fallout adventure is ever complete unless you start by picking up your very first Pip-Boy. I actually wanted to spend a lot more time inside the vault, just exploring and looking around, seeing how they laid out everything. But I've said this before in previous events that your biggest enemy during these early gameplay sessions is time. Time is your biggest enemy. There's never enough time to do absolutely everything. So I try to look as quickly as I possibly can.
Such a huge responsibility.
Jeez.
Just know that Vault Tech is proud of you. I am proud of you.
Thanks, Mom.
When you hear this, it means I've been gone for several hours. I've got my own mission out there in Appalachia. This is the Overseer, signing off.
So, if you didn't know, the Fallout 76 is a game that's more heavily focused in multiplayer gameplay. So the majority of the session that I recorded, I was actually paired with a group.
That's right, sir. Free samples.
A group of 4. I actually kind of went rogue for a bit after, but at the very beginning you'll see that we're gonna hang around with a group of 4 people. We have 3 people who were influencers slash media like myself, and there's 1 person who is actually part of the Bethesda Game Studios team to basically just kind of guide us along the way on how we want to proceed, give us hints, let us know how to proceed, give us ideas of what we could possibly do to get the most out of what we could out of the entire demo. So that was helpful, but I find that this channel especially is more focused on single player gameplay, and I was told that for about 75% of the game you could play it single player and get a pretty good experience out of it. Right now we're trying to make our way outside of the vault, so it's always a moment when you exit the vault for the very first time. So let's take it all in, take in the experience. Oh! It's Reclamation Day! Yeah, boy! So, BSW Outlaw is actually the leader of the party, and you'll see a bunch of other people running around. So, even though we are in a group of 4, they threw everyone in the exact same server. So you may recognize some other YouTube personalities online or in the video. Actually run into Easy Allies, which is one of my favorite channels on YouTube. They used to be the Game Trailers guys. We'll encounter them in a future video, but as you can see, there are emojis, and everyone pretty much starts off the exact same. We exited the vault. We wait for our squad mates. One of our squad mates decided to stay in the vault a little bit longer. I'm pretty sure he was kind of taking in all the scenery as much as he possibly could. So before we proceeded, we had to wait for him to come out. But we do pick up a gun and some ammo for the very first time. So it's a truly open world game. It doesn't really handicap you on exactly where you should go. You get to pretty much do whatever you want. You don't even have to do the main mission right away if you choose not to, but yes. So yeah, when you first exit the vault for the first time, there is a corpse that you can pillage for weapons, and pretty much once we got out of the vault, they basically said, do what you want, explore the world. Some people went to the Mothman Museum to try to find the Mothman. Some people wanted to go to the Greenbrier. So instead of the typical leveling up system that you found in previous Fallout games, they have introduced these things called perk cards, and you pretty much stack and collect perk cards as you level up. I didn't fully understand the nuances of it. I kind of got the general gist of it, but I didn't really spend too much time mixing and matching all of the perk cards. But pretty much all the abilities that you've come to accustom to in previous Fallout games, you'll find with the perk cards. So I chose the Charisma ability, which gives you a bonus of XP anytime you're in a group of a party. As well, you're able to share perk cards among your teammates as well. So they told us that's probably the most handy one to choose at the very beginning of the demo, just because it gives you more XP, and sharing perk cards is pretty damn awesome. So yeah, they did a fantastic job with the environment of this game in terms of how everything is laid out. They recreated the Greenbrier, which is the actual hotel that I got to stay in. It was probably one of the fanciest hotels that I've ever been to in my entire life. It's a golf course, it's a resort, it's a hotel. They actually have a PGA Tour that goes through there. It was just a fantastic experience the entire way through, and they recreated it almost perfectly. And still waiting for that one teammate to get out of the vault. I remember I was getting really impatient for him to come out at one point, but I think he eventually does come out. So yeah, like I was saying, this game is mostly, first off, it feels exactly like Fallout in terms of how it looks, how it plays. There was a little bit of adjustment to the VAT system, because you no longer have that slow motion, really cool kill cam when you use the VAT system, because everything has to happen in real time, because there is a PvP element to this game. So you can straight up attack and murder other characters if you want. There are consequences to murdering other characters, but because of that aspect of the game, everything has to be in real time. So that's why there's a slight adjustment to the VAT system. I don't get access to the VAT system until I buy the Perception perk card, where you can actually target limbs, so you won't see me use it until a little bit later. But yeah, like I said, it feels exactly like Fallout 4 did. Take that for what it's worth. That can, depending on how you view it, that could be a good or a bad thing. But with the heavy emphasis on being an open world multiplayer based game, there are some sacrifices that I did find when I was playing, which directly affects how the story is told or the narrative. I'd have to say that the story and narrative is told a lot better in previous Fallout games, just because it's a single player experience. It's what you're playing for the most part. Whereas with multiplayer, you're focused on encountering and engaging with other players in the real world. So BSW Outlaw, our guide throughout this entire game, he is the party leader at this point. So he is the one, when you're in a group of 4 people, only the one party leader can advance some quests, especially specific main quests, further. So jamming out here, just straight jamming. So there's a heavy emphasis on having a good party leader, because he's the one that obviously keeps you kind of grounded, keeps you progressing in the same direction, as he's the one that gets to control what quest you decide to tackle. So yeah, but that being said, you still are, even though you are in a party, you have full opportunity to just spread out by yourselves throughout the entire world. That's actually almost recommended to, if you're one of those min-max people who like to maximize your amount of rewards for the minimum amount of time that you want to spend, because if you all like scatter, you still have the ability to fast travel directly back to each other instantaneously at no cost. So the currency in this game is caps. So when you discover an area, you can always fast travel back to it, but it costs money to fast travel to different areas back and forth, around 15 to 20 caps, whereas you can just fast travel to your teammates directly for free, so it doesn't cost you anything whatsoever. So if you want to spread out and discover as much of the map as possible, encounter cool things, then that's probably your best bet. As you can see right here, you can trade within party members as well. You can also fast travel to the vault, back to the vault for free. So the vault is kind of in a central area right now. So our main objective right now is to get to a workstation, as well as to stay alive, fight bugs, collect weaponry, and level up. So workbenches are even more important than they were in previous games, because as you collect items, random crap, metal, junk in the map, they actually can be used for stuff now. So they can actually be, if you take them to a workbench, you're gonna see me get to a workbench fairly soon right here. You can junk it. You can junk all the items, which will give you materials to build other things as well. So that's really handy. So no longer you're just collecting stuff and just throw away stuff for no possible reason. There's actually a purpose to finding things, and as you get materials for finding stuff. Yeah. So I'm gonna leave you guys with the rest of the gameplay so you guys can watch. The rest of it is just going to our main camp area to build some weapons, as well as some early level and early game armor, some basic armor stuff. Basically the pumpkin spice of of armor, basic white girl armor. Anyways, so I'll leave you guys there. If you guys have any questions, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all the questions that you guys have in the comment box of this video, and I'm gonna answer as many of them as I possibly can, because this was the very first time that this game has been publicly shown and played in a manner like this. And with a game like this, there's a lot to take in. There's a lot. I'll be honest with you. There's a lot to take in. There are a lot of nuances to the game, but at the same time, it still feels almost exactly like Fallout. So, which is a good thing. I love Fallout. Who doesn't like Fallout? So yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys with the rest of the gameplay. Any questions or concerns, leave them in the comment box below, and I'll answer as many of them as I possibly can. And I will see you guys in the next episode. All right? As always, have a nice day.
along, south of Vault 76. I knew this wasn't going to be the Appalachia I remembered, but... mutated animals, haywire bots, and... no people so far. We have to be ready to rebuild in... what I can confirm is... hostile territory. Fortunately, Vault Tech was prepared. You see this? The cooking station, the stash box, the workbenches, all built with the camp. You need a home base out there. The construction and assembly mobile platform is designed to give you one. Just add resources, planning, and a little elbow grease. When you move your camp, everything you've built is stored, ready to be placed back down in the new area. Use this to establish a foothold whenever you're in unfamiliar territory. I've left my camp behind so you can use it. I know I'm breaking my own advice by not taking it with me. But after seeing Appalachia for myself, I need to make sure every resident of 76 has a safe haven they can start from. I'll make do without it. If it's still standing, the town of Flatwoods is further down this road. Find me there. This is the Overseer. Signing.
responders. Mr. Farmhands are out of control. Evacuate civilians, and take down those supervisors. Once they're dealt with, you'll have to reboot the server. Again.